Hey, happy prepper. Uh, Getting a late start here. Nobody else has joined up yet. So how you doing, happy prepper? Hey, Lori. How are you this evening? Uh, Having a rough day. Actually, last couple of days have been pretty rough. That's why I'm a little late getting started. I didn't catch what happened to your channel earlier, Lori. So send me an email later and let me know what's going on. Cat, leave it alone. Cat thinks my computer cords are a toy. I did send links out to Gil and Will. I don't know if they're going to show up or not. But tonight's topic is personal training equals personal protection equals personal perseverance. Perseverance. Okay. See you in a moment. Right or dust? And yes, I did. I was supposed to go hunting this hunting season, and that didn't pan out. So off it came. I'm not sure if I do. I kind of miss it already. Yeah. Maybe look a little more distinguished or redneck. I'm not sure which. My cat has decided it's full of pea and vinegar tonight. It's attacking everything. All right. Well, thanks for stopping in, Happy Prepper. And I did start my broadcast a little early tonight. It's scheduled for 9:30, and we started at 9. So, hey, Uncle Al, didn't see you sneak in there. We started early without everybody, so any questions in side chat before they show up? Serious questions, of course. So how you doing, Al? You feeling any better? Crazy cat. It's gonna be a boring broadcast if nobody else shows up and nobody asks any questions. Forgive me, my son brought home a cold again. I just start getting over one, and he brings the second one home. Sleep is always a good thing. Did you get me any toys? I could use a few. They're not cheap, though. Yes, it does, Al. Yeah, I'm on a budget, too. My budget says no expensive toys. And that's the link if anybody wants to join the stream tonight. And welcome back, Lori. There's Gil.
Yep.
Yep. There's one. I'm going to post the link real quick to the USCCA. If it'll host all of it. Probably not.
Hang on.
Okay. Ignore what it just threw up there because I don't think that's one link. Yeah, I started early, Gil, so
yeah.
Sorry about that.
I know. I just happened to notice the number started clicking up on my inbox because I'm also I was watching Stony Ridge Farmer.
Sorry about that. All right.
Close that off. Whew. All right, Lori's still eating. Hi, Lori. Hey, Lori. I dug into my all my old videos. Every comment you ever made on my old videos has been erased. So when they took down your site, however they took down and deleted your site, it removed all the comments and everything. I was going to try to backdoor it in and see what's going on, but it removed everything.
Yeah, once the channel's deleted by YouTube or the user, any and all comments from way back when are gone.
Yeah.
That's a better link to the USCCA right there. That's one place where you can get insurance while you're carrying, and that insurance doesn't cover just guns. That's a misconception to some people. That covers if somebody breaks in my house and I use a baseball bat on their head. As long as it's legal, as long as I'm defending myself, I'm covered. That includes knives. That includes if I'm out and about and if I get accosted, then it's, I'm still covered. Nigel.
Yeah, we have a troll in here.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I just got rid of him. Yeah, he has no comment at all and nothing showing up other than his picture on his channel.
That's probably not even his picture because that's a picture
Yeah.
of a picture.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Hey, Rider Dust.
And Nigel, what are you referring to? Silly pattern. Those are the American flags. If you don't like it, then I'm sorry. If it offends you, there's a change channel button. I'm not going to ask anybody to stay here that doesn't agree with our country.
Just
Hey, Jerry, how's it going, brother?
hey, Jerry. My face here.
Well, Nigel, you know what? If you think it's such a silly flag, then don't look at it. But you'll find everybody that's in my stream and most of my people that support me are Americans, and we're patriotic. We support our flag. We support our Constitution of the United States and all the amendments and the declarations thereof. If you do not agree, then there's the door. But I will not tolerate any negative comments on here.
Yeah. And we even have some Canadians in here that support the Stars and Stripes as well as their own.
Oh, you got another one in here.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Okay, that should clean that up.
Mm-hmm.
That's a nice thing. Here in the StreamYard, it shows all the comments, even though we deleted them over here.
Yep.
Father Greg, good evening.
Hey, Father Greg. How you doing, Father Greg?
So, like I said before Gil jumped in here, tonight's topic is personal training equals personal protection equals personal preservation. Why do we want to get training? And seeing how Gil usually has a laundry list of things he's got stored up and written down, I'm going to let you take off, sir. Then I'll throw in my 10 cents afterwards. That's about all I got.
Well, why should we get trained? Why should we breathe air? Why should we drink water? Why should we eat food? So we can continue to live.
Hey, Budget Bushcraft.
Hey, yeah, got some good ones there. Hey, anyways, one of my favorite authors was a gentleman, Jerry Ahern. Back in the day, he wrote a lot of articles for Guns and Ammo and other magazines. He wrote several what's what I'm looking for? Books you'd use for documentation of how to learn to shoot, all the other fun stuff. He wrote fiction and nonfiction. In one of his biggest fiction sellers, this series, The Survivalist, the main character's name was John T. Rourke, and he was explaining to this newbie guy he picked up as a sidekick what survivalism was all about. And basically he said, I'm going to survive so I can help my family to survive. My family and I will survive so we can help our friends and neighbors survive. Our friends and neighbors will survive so that we can help our community survive. Our community will survive so we can help civilization to survive. And that's one of the big things just about training. You're not going to survive if you don't have training. Well, you might survive a little while, but in the end, the odds are going to come back and bite you in the butt. I've been teaching since I was a 14-year-old scout. after the 1971 Sylmar earthquake, and I got all sorts of training really fast, really hard, beyond what I had learned as a scout. And I got into emergency preparedness and response. And then a couple of years later, when I was living on the North River Grand Canyon, I learned about wilderness survival and wilderness search and rescue. And I went into a whole hog there too and learned everything I could. In fact, one of the guys that was running one of the big tour companies up there had me on call for any search and rescue that they got calls on to. That way they didn't have to take their people from their groups to go out and find people. Training is always good. What is training? It's getting knowledge. Knowledge is power, and it's an enabler. It enables you to survive. That, in a nutshell, is why you need to get training. Now, what types of training? That's like asking 20 scientists to come up with any and all theories they could on any subject. You're going to get 50 scientists, you're going to have 500 theories, because they're going to say each scientist is going to present their own. Then they're going to present a backup theory. Then they're going to start pairing off and coming up with other theories. So what type of training do you need? You got to look at yourself. What do you need? What do you lack in? And after 48 years, I am still training and learning and getting education.
Yeah, if you're not learning something new every day, you just nip yourself in the bud. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Exactly. Was it piss poor planning predicates poor performance?
Prevents poor performance.
No, piss poor planning.
Yep.
Predicates. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
most people hear prevents instead of predicates.
Yeah. Well, you know, proper planning prevents. But if you don't properly plan, or if you just go about it piss poorly, you got your two ways you're going to go. You're either going to go up, or you're going to go 6 feet under.
Yeah, I had to dig 2 feet out of the ground today, so I didn't go any further under.
But in my personal opinion, the first and most important thing you can learn, first aid. In Boy Scouts, the first merit badge I made sure that all my scouts earned was the first aid merit badge, because there are 6 other merit badges that is a prerequisite that you have to get. And in some scout camps, if you don't have it, will not let you do any of the more fun stuff like rifle, shotgun, archery. They want everybody to have first aid, and it's important. So I'm checking anything here on the side chat. Anybody fire anything in?
Not yet.
Cool.
All right, so I'm going to take a moment here.
Yeah.
One of the topics of training that I recommend is firearms training. If you can carry, or if you have access to a weapon of any kind, be more knowledgeable than the people around you is how to use it. There are many companies out there that offer training. You can buy videos. Now, a lot of people are going to tell you ain't going to learn nothing off videos.
That's it.
Yep.
Uncle Al.
Yep,
that's the guy.
And one of the companies that I recommend, and I'll go ahead and repost the link again, just so those who are just getting here can find it, is the USCCA. They have a video series. And the nice thing about videos, if you're at home, you get what they call a blue gun, or even just go buy a BB gun and make sure it's empty, of course, and learn the various techniques that show you how to do it from, a sitting position, how to do it from on your back. They teach all of these things. Kevin Michalowski is their editor, and he's one of the best guys when it comes to teaching that stuff. They do videos as well on YouTube. I've had a bunch of their videos and actually given them away to other people. Matter of fact, on my old channel, I gave away a whole bunch of them. Excuse me. But learning how to use that weapon, no matter what position you're in. There are other places that teach you how to use a knife. Getting weapons training of any kind would be the best way to do it. Because if you're trained in weapons, or your hands or your feet through martial arts, if you're trained well enough, you stand a better chance than the average person of coming out on top. If you have personal training, that means you're personally protected. And if you're protecting yourself and your family, you stand a better chance of persevering in the future. Okay, go ahead, Gil.
Let's equate it another way, and then I'm going to tie it all together here. Blue collar crafts, welders, plumbers, electricians. They train, they learn. Why? That's what I can say is for a welder. A welder has to control that electrode and get a perfect bead to be certified. Right? You can't do that right off the bat. No, it takes muscle memory, learning exactly how to move the stick and around and do the swirls to get the perfect bead without crap in there.
Sorry, can't do it.
And same thing with, that's called muscle memory. You do it, your muscles pick up. So you're actually doing it almost without thinking, because the synaptic pathways from your brain down to your hands are so in tune from doing it. You're not thinking about it. Your brain is doing it on its own, controlling it. Same thing with a firearm. Learning how to get on target, how to handle, how to keep your eye on target while you change the magazine or dump the shells and redo the speed loader, whether it's revolver or whether it's semi-automatic.
That's the nice thing about having a BB gun when it comes to that, because unlike a blue gun, which you can't drop a magazine out of and insert a new one, a BB gun you can train with that. Just don't get a CO2. Just get the good old fashioned. I don't even know. I think I got a 310 or whatever it is, or a 210, whatever it's called, from Daisy. It's just really cheap. It's spring loaded. You have to pull a slide back in order to use it, and you can drop the magazine just like a real pistol, and that teaches you how to do it. Hey, Will, just in time. I sent you links. That link. Yeah, I can't speak tonight.
Yeah. Also, if you want something that looks a little more realistic, Airsoft makes 911s. They make Glocks. They make AR-15 plastic guns with the magazines that come out. So you're acting just like you got a real gun. You got so many shots, and you got to put a new magazine in. That's the and those are really a nice way. That's to be able to do it. They also have them where they have the weights inside of them, so it weighs like a real gun. And the same thing goes like Lori Jean says. She learned that in I always screw up, Taekwondo. I got it right. And I always get tongue tied on some of that, but muscle memory in that, using a knife, muscle memory. You want to see something funny? Give somebody that's never used a butterfly knife before, the flick knife. Ask them to do that. Watch how badly they cut their fingers up. Ow, ow, ow. Because they've never done it. They have no muscle memory. They have no skill. Training equates, in the long run, to skill. Exactly, Uncle Al.
All right, here on the chart real quick. This is a Daisy Powerline 340. It's 230 FPS, but it gives you the chance to train, teach you how to slide rack if you need to, and reload. And with the BB gun, you can teach yourself the muscle memory in order to, oops, I got on safety. Be able to hold it back and teach the muscle memory to let the hammer drop without letting it fire. It was empty, so I wasn't worried about it. But it gives you the chance to train, so it's easier to carry.
Yeah.
My personal preference is to have one in the chamber and train with the safety on. So as you pull it, as you're pulling it up, that thumb's knocking the safety down. Always train using that safety. That gives you one extra protection.
Yeah.
Never go outside your house without it being loaded. I don't care what people tell you. I don't know of any police officers or military that walk around with a weapon that is not loaded on their side. Okay, that's the way I carry. That's why I recommend everybody carry.
Yeah, but I think Dave, there's a lot of idiot people out there that shoot off something they shouldn't shoot off.
Yeah, well, there's a very viral video of a police officer who's trying to be Barney Bad Butt, and as he's pulling it, instead of paying attention to what he's doing, he puts his finger in a little booger hole and puts his booger picker on the trigger as he's pulling it out of his holster and shoots himself in the leg. That is hilariously funny, except for the fact that he's a police officer and he knows better than that.
Yeah, but what's also funny is shooting someplace that's really important.
Hi, I used to be a man.
Yeah. Well, it all comes down to training. Train with what you have and make sure that you're well trained at it.
Didn't have a trigger guard, huh?
This is your trigger guard right here. This is it.
The one of the things to emphasize, when I went through the police academy 37 years ago, anyways, semi-autos, a lot of departments were getting semi-autos, and all these guys that were in the academy had been using revolvers before, and now their departments wanted them to use semi-autos. There's a big difference between shooting a semi-auto and a revolver in combat at a target, just because the mechanism of it is. When I went through the academy, I was lucky. The sheriff's department, said you could carry whatever you wanted to carry. This is my picture when I was sworn in as a deputy sheriff. And you see what's on the side there, that big old monster on the side there?
Yeah, your dirty hairy gun.
Close. It's a Smith & Wesson model, end frame model, which is the same one that Dirty Harry used, only instead of being 44, this is 357. It's got the 8 3/8 inch barrel. 2 of us had that gun in the academy. Because we had practiced with it for years and years before, we took first and second place. We tied the actual numbers. It's just that cutting from the 10X to the 10 ring, a couple of the differences between us, like 3 points difference on that, but the total points was the same. And we took first and second. Muscle memory. We outshot everybody else. The next closest person to us was a revolver, but he'd never shot a gun before. He got into the academy. So, if you're going to be using revolvers and semi-auto pistols, shoot both all the friggin' time, folks.
Yep.
Don't get into habit of just using one. But training is all right. You have knowledge, you have training, and you have skill. They're not the same. Example, say Uncle Al wants to become a brain surgeon. He goes to a college, gets all the knowledge in school. Can he be a brain surgeon? No, he has no skill. He then has to spend time as a intern getting actual on-the-job training and getting training to develop skill. After he's completed his internship, they've deemed him to have the skill to do brain surgery. You can't just go from step A to step D right off the bat. You have to go through the steps.
I can do brain surgery.
Well, so can I on zombies. Yeah, so can I on zombies. Yeah. Or Hillary.
No.
Okay.
We can't do that, no. But anyway, folks, it's like you don't want to learn on the job, which is really dangerous. You don't want to learn how to ride a 10-speed in SHTF. You do not want to ride a horse at SHTF. You don't want to learn how to shoot a weapon off of a horse. That's going to be funny as hell. I've seen a lot of people try it, and like, you shot the horse. Like,
oh, Josh. And yeah,
then,
that's another thing. You got to make sure that horse is.
Hey, Jerry, how you doing?
You got to make sure that horse is capable of staying calm while you're firing as well. Because most horses that I've been on are very domesticated. If you fire off a pistol or rifle anywhere near their head, if you're trying to hit somebody while you're on the back of that horse, guess what? You just went from shooting a target to being the target because that horse is about to throw you off.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
And if that horse throws you off, the first thing that horse is going to do is plant
Stomp
one
you.
or both hoofs right square in your chest.
If you just go out and just buy you a pistol or something, then do what I did. I bought like 200, I think it was like 250 rounds of just practice ammo and went to the range and just did nothing but sit there and draw and fire, draw and fire, draw and fire.
Well,
So I could
unfortunately, a lot of
figure out
ranges,
which way it pulls, how it feels in your hand, different things like that.
a lot of ranges will not let you pull from the holster to fire on target.
I live in Bum, Egypt.
Right, you're out in the woods, you can do that, but most indoor ranges will not let you do it. And there's a lot of outdoor ranges will not allow you unless you're the only one there and the only other person there is the instructor.
Yeah.
I qualified for my concealed there, so they let me do whatever I want.
Now there are some times that ranges will, when they rent it out to specific training schools, the school provides their own range masters and stuff like that. That's what Steve, Corsair trainer, does. He trains how to draw and fire while on the move.
And that
And
is
you don't go with that right away. You learn first how to draw and fire. Simply, first you just learn how to shoot the gun, get proficient shooting. Then you go to the next stage. Then you go to the next stage of it. Actually, you just don't jump right in and go hog wild.
Nope.
I'm
And the best thing
going
to do
to be doing a review on this. I won this grip that goes on my AR. I won it from Raven Tactical, and it's a grip, a pistol grip that you can put on the bottom of your AR so you can hold it and fire it. But it's got a little button on the front of it. You push it, and a little bipod comes down, so you can actually sit it on something too. So I got to do a review on that. It's pretty slick. It fits right on there. Perfect.
Yep, Jerry, it doesn't take long to go through 2,000 rounds of ammo. Especially
No,
with
that's
AR.
why you learned how to reload.
Yep.
Oh,
And
boy.
but as far as the first thing you have to learn to do, and the best way to do it is with a BB gun that you can take and take a mag out. So it teaches you many things. First thing you gotta do is learn how to pull it out of the holster, keeping your finger off the trigger. As you come toward target, that's when you put your finger in. I don't have a shell casing with me, and this one wouldn't work anyway because it's rounded. Get it up here. It's just rounded. But if it's a plastic one, take and flatten out the front sight completely flat and put a penny on it. And once you got it out there, if you got a penny on it, learn to pull that trigger without it falling off. Once you learn that, then you got to learn how to take and focus on not jerking the trigger, pulling it, pushing it, anticipating the recoil. You just keep pulling back until it snaps. Don't worry about recoil. As long as you got your arms in the right position, that recoil is going to be minimal. Even on a 357 or 44 Magnum, if you got your arms in the right position, you're braced in the proper way, that recoil is minimal. But if you limp wrist it, which means it's going like this a lot,
Right.
then A, you're going to miss your target every time. B, your wrist is going to hurt like hell, or you're going to smack yourself in the face with it.
Yeah.
Getting a BB pistol is an excellent way because, all right, we already know this is empty. All right. So what you want to do is you want to be able to pull, and not have this move at all when it breaks. Once you've gotten that down and you've learned how to pull it and do that, and then you start picking up your speed. They make applications for phones that have a timer on it, and it'll go beep. That's when you pull it and fire. And if you have it sitting close enough, it'll pick up the fact that your hammer drops. Some of them do, some of them don't. You have to have your phone sitting pretty close. But once you learn how to do that very fast, very repetitively, go find a training area where they'll let you do that, or find somebody that offers training where you can do that.
Yeah.
Warrior Poet Society is another guy that offers excellent training. If you're out where he's at, go talk to John. John is an excellent guy. I've spoken to him a couple times. Another guy is Rob Pincus. He's also another great trainer. He goes around the country training. So look those guys up. And I'll see if I can't find a link to Rob. Warrior Poet Society is here on YouTube.
And also, guys, here's a point. Don't get tunnel vision. A lot of new shooters, all they see is that one target when they're shooting. Like this. They don't look around on either side, and then they get whacked by some guy to the left or right with something like, "What do you mean you got killed with a baby buggy bumper?" Something ridiculous.
Hey,
And
food court.
you have to fill out the report that the guy who did all the movements and everything died from a baby buggy bunker or something like that.
Baby buggy.
Rubber baby
Right.
bubby gum.
Gosh,
Right.
none of you guys can get it. And I'm not even going
Hi.
to attempt it tonight because we're live and I'm not even going to pretend. Here's a link to Rod Pincus's site.
Good.
Like I said, Rod Pincus is another great guy to go talk, get in touch with, try and get training.
And if you're out in the southwestern United States, outside of Las Vegas, is one of the top companies that train. They got their own facility out there in the desert. They got it. They're building a hotel now out there for members and stuff to stay at. It's called Front Sight. It is absolutely fabulous.
Yeah, and they actually have access to full auto.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they also can take you up in a helicopter and teach you how to shoot. And unlike being on the ground trying to hit a moving target where you're in front of the target shooting at it, when you're up in the air shooting down and you're moving, you shoot behind it because your shells follow you instead of the other way. It's a total different way of shooting, being up in the air shooting as you're moving compared to being on the ground shooting a moving target.
Right. I can't remember the guy, Kawano Reed, down out there. Yeah, he trained out there.
Yep, there's actually a few videos on here on YouTube where they show him training at their site.
Yeah.
Hey, Ryder Dust, how you doing?
Dave, you want me to throw up the Front Sight link?
Sure, go ahead.
All right.
Yeah, it's a good link. So everybody go check it out. Like I said, listen to the guys. You don't want to be the only one on a 10-speed with training wheels.
Yeah.
I need training wheels. I'm getting old. I fall over too easy.
Now you see one of those 10-speed trikes with a big support basket on the back.
Does everybody know why they always have 3-speed world armies since I think until 1968? The Swiss was the last one have 3 speeds for military bicycles. Does anybody know that? Viet Cong had 3 speeds. Japanese had 3 speeds. The German had.
It was more efficient. They had less breakdowns, less derailments, and less problems with a 3-speed than you did over a 5, 10. And as the number goes up, your problems can increase, especially if you're off road.
Right. Tell that to the French. The French did that in World War II. Did not work out too well, did it?
Nope. They had too many speeds and they kept on derailing.
Yep, and breaking down. And by the time they got everything fixed, guess who was in Paris? Bit of history. Right.
Yeah.
All right.
Anyways.
I put Ryder Dust's comment up on there. He mentions another teacher that's here on YouTube. And if you're on this side of the country and get a hold of him and get some training, I recommend it. Because like I said, if you train yourself, you will survive longer. And the longer you survive, the longer your family survives.
Mm-hmm.
And I keep telling people on the martial arts stuff, like Japanese or Chinese and stuff, you have to be careful because what they train is divided into 2 forms. You got classical, which shows you the classical movements, and you got the street thugs type. It totally different 2 worlds.
Very totally.
Classical teaches the proper movement. Street thugs teach you how to kill each other.
Yeah.
And you have to be really sharp and really quick because those guys make the rules as they go. It's like Eskrima in the Philippines. There's no set or classic rules for that. You go at it and beat each other over the head with 2 sticks.
Yeah.
I learned the hard way.
Yeah.
My sensei was a Japanese. He had 4 different black belts. He was about 55 when I met him at the age of 13. And, I thought I knew something, so I bowed, and I felt the back of his hand hit the back of my head, and it dropped me flat on my face. He says, "Don't ever take your eyes off your opponent. Never." And then, so I learned under him for about 5 years, and I picked myself up off the mat for probably the first 2.5 years before I actually learned much of anything. The first thing he taught me is how to take a hit and get up off my butt. And it took me
Right.
probably 8 months to learn how to get up off my butt after taking a hit.
Did he
But
show you
I'll
that?
tell you what,
He was teaching you situational awareness.
he was just
Yeah.
fast. He was
Yeah.
about all of
Yeah.
5'4", 122 pounds, and faster than Grease Lightning.
Right.
He made Bruce Lee look slow.
Yep. Did he teach you how to fall?
Yep.
Yeah.
One of the first things he taught me, without touching me, he
Yeah.
said,
They
I want you to
teach you.
stand up and fall. And as you're falling, just as you start to slap the ground with your hand, it takes 90% of the impact off your back. Your hand may sting like crazy, but your back ain't gonna hurt as much.
Was it rubber mats or concrete?
I learned on a hardwood floor.
Oh, that's good. Because old school is
not
hard concrete.
My head didn't think so.
No, because there's three things: rubber mats, the traditional wood floors because it's easier to clean, and then you have the street thug type, concrete or asphalt. So if you fall on that when it's 106 outside, you learn hard, fall on your hands
Hmm.
because you don't want to smack the ground at 106. You fry eggs. Guess what happens to bare skin?
Yeah.
Cooks.
All right, so I guess what we've talked about: first aid training, firearms training, martial arts training. Touched a little bit about knife training too. What else do you people out on the side chat there think you're going to need in an SHTF or Tawaki situation where you don't have now?
Yes, Lori. When it comes
And
to a
actually-
horse, that's the best thing to do.
And actually, there's something you probably could be using now if you had it. And if you really want to know about it, go check out Howie at Food Forest
Hey, Palmetto.
Permaculture.
Hi, Anthony.
Hey, Anthony.
I also learned how to swim. How many people here, I can't do it anymore, could go into a pool, rescue a drowning person, drag them all the way back to the shore? I know Dave and Gil, you guys could still do it, right?
Yep.
I can do it. I was,
out
in
of water when
the
I
Navy.
was a kid.
I was in the Navy. I could do it.
Now, well, now.
Oh, now I
When
can
it-
do it now.
When it comes to water, I go out and I just sink and I walk across the bottom. I can hold my breath for 5 minutes. I better be able to get back to the surface, but I can hold my breath for 5 minutes, but I can't swim with a darn.
Yeah, because
But I can walk across that bottom really fast.
I used to do that as a kid with a big rock. Pick up a big rock and walk across the lake or walk across the river.
No, my left side's screwed up. I can't do this. If I could swim with one hand, it'll work, but left side. So,
If you want to come up here, people.
it's
No, one of the
hilarious.
things I make sure I can do is, if knowing full well that one of the routes I would have to take on horseback takes us through water, one of the things I keep myself up on is A, CPR, B, being able to swim. Because if my son falls off and I can't swim, then I can't save my son. So
Right.
it's very important for me to make sure I can, do it.
Also,
One
sorry,
of the
go
things,
ahead.
besides swimming, there's a
Firebomb.
with involved with
Howie says fire bombs.
yeah. Yeah. Anyways, what you to go along with the swimming, there's a different style of first aid that goes with swimming a little bit. And in Boy Scouts, it's a separate merit badge called life saving. So you got to have first aid merit badge first, then you have to pass the swimming test, then you can take the life saving merit badge. So you see that the progression. You don't jump straight to life saving. You go to the first aid, swimming, and like that. So your training has to be done in the proper order of the things you want to do.
Oh, I almost forgot. If you're going to use a rope, do not lasso the neck.
Yeah.
So they want to float, so they grab hold on it. Nobody does the cowboy stuff in water. It looks really bad when you jerk them into the water and you just hung them.
Yeah.
It looks really bad. So use a float, a log, something with the rope toss, because that's another thing is rope work and rappelling and how to use it in the water. Because I've seen people, wait, you just knocked the guy out cold, or there's a hole in that boat and it's sinking because you put the anchor, a weighted end on the rope, and you threw it at them, and it goes through the boat.
Yeah. Like Steve, of course, our trainer is doing right now. He's doing that his series on how do you rate a merit badge, and he's going through a lot of the merit badges the scouts have.
Yep.
If you have kids that are going to be turning 11 soon, get involved with scouting. Scouting is now co-ed. Actually, it's co-ed even before with the Cub Scouts, but at the Boy Scout level, which is 10 and a half if they have the Arrow of Light, or 11 if they're coming straight into the program. Get involved with it and get trained as an adult leader. The adult leaders go through a lot of this training stuff so they can teach the kids the stuff. It is probably the best, and there's tons of training out there, and most of it's free.
Mm-hmm.
The Scouts, the BSA likes to train their adults so their adults can train the youth.
That's how I got into it, my son.
I got a question. How many here still got their AED cards with them? Dave?
There what?
You know,
I
use the little machine to start the heart?
Yeah, AED, Advanced Electronic Defibrillator.
Right. I still have mine.
I know how to use it, don't have the card, and I don't have one here. That's one of the few preps that I definitely want to try and pick up somehow.
I've
Oh,
got
yeah, they had a good sale on that.
one of my first aid cards I got where I can use one, but I don't have one.
Oh, they're
Yeah.
not expensive. They have one in a pack. If you got a company, you could buy it through them. It's about $250, I think. But you have to get it regulated every 2 years because those things don't last. I have one in the heart because I got stents in my heart. So in case I'm on the floor, all my nephews know how to use that. I don't want to be Uncle Alan dead. Like,
Yeah.
No.
Well, Al, sorry, I ain't gonna. If I'm around you, I'm not gonna give you a French kiss to keep you alive.
Thanks.
Well, they got those little those little mouthpieces now that you put over.
Yeah. The AEDs, the new ones, actually, you don't have to be certified in them because you push the start button and it tells you exactly what to do, and it will not go beyond that until you do it right. When you're putting the patches on, if they're on the right location, it'll tell you wrong location.
Yeah.
It can sense where your heart. It can sense where the vital organs are.
Mm-hmm.
Even though your heart's not working, a lot of other internal organs are still functioning for about 30 seconds, if I remember correctly. So you got a real short window to get that on and actually get activated.
Right.
Yeah.
You always want to get the air flowing. Heart, you can go for a few seconds and then get everything ready and zap them, but you got to make sure they're breathing.
Yeah.
Because lack of oxygen, you end up like Uncle Alan.
Yeah.
Hello, Joe. Yeah, Joe.
Some of the other training, which is a lot harder than 90% of the professional preppers out there on YouTube. They just have a channel and don't actually do it. Gardening. Gardening is not simple. Oh, I put a seed in the ground, I cover it up. Yeah. My family has had gardens since I was 2.5 years old. I've gardened all my life, and I still don't know enough.
Former family here. I know what you're talking about, Jill, up there. Because I seen people, they thought they could buy a package of seeds in a jar, seeds in a package. I'll just store a whole bunch of seeds, and when time comes, I'll just grow them out. I'm looking at them. No, you're going to have a pile of garbage because the seeds were hybrid. They're too old. They're dead.
Hi, Maccabeus.
Hi.
I can't pronounce his first name, but his second name, Maccabeus.
I can say that. Jehoiadak Maccabeus.
Yep. Hey, Jehoiadak. But a lot of people don't understand if you plant in the wrong area. I started my garden in October and it snows. You know,
Well,
I
but
see
Anthony,
people.
I don't do very good at gardening either. I have no green thumbs.
I got two.
Yeah,
I got.
that's why I want to have you move out here. I'll find a plot of land. We'll share food together and shoot anybody that comes near it. How's that sound?
You shoot them. I'll just grow the food.
Okay, I'll stand guard while you garden. I'll have my son give you a hand.
Yeah, I'll do the cooking and growing, and you guys just do the tactical stuff. I'm getting too old for that. I'm gonna be like Long John Silver. Be smart, do the cooking, make desserts, and anybody get in the way.
We'll take care of it.
No,
Hi, James Smith.
Good evening,
Uncle
James.
Al, whoops. Uncle Al will take care. Oh, that's stuck. Great.
I got the other one.
Do the Long John Silver way in the back. This one worked. I gotta fix this one. Getting old.
Yeah.
Any
I'm
suggestions
doing all right.
What model is best? What are you referring to? As in, what model of what?
What kind of model?
Are we talking firearm, cutting utensils?
You got a whole string of green beans, Tyler?
Okay, everybody's waiting on Rider Dust, but yeah, well, until he fires up what he's talking about, what model is the best? Give us a little more clue. Another skill that everybody should have. Any guesses what I'm going to say?
Crossbow, Dutch oven.
Archery.
Okay, close. Sorry.
Yeah.
Just tired.
Because archery is totally different than firing a gun.
No.
Let's talk about prepping. AED as an advanced electronic defibrillator. It is just like the ones they use in the hospitals for people who have a heart attack or an ambulance, but they're personalized. You see them nowadays in a lot of businesses, especially high dollar businesses. They'll have them right there in their lobbies. They'll have at least one or two on every floor. Most hospitals now have them going down hallways, one on every floor, every 200-300 feet. There's a small box on the wall that's got an AED in it. So if somebody falls on the floor, somebody with them can bust that out, and it will talk you through restarting their heart.
And if you fly out of the airports, most airports now, if you're going along, you'll see a cabinet. It looks like a fire extinguisher cabinet. It's not. Instead of being red, it's white, and it has an AED in it.
Yep, and they're actually on airplanes now too.
Yeah, and also people, if you're not trained to use a breather bag, don't use those things. I've seen more people try to do it on YouTube. Yeah,
Oh, you're talking about one of those squeeze ones?
yeah, I've seen people blow up little kid doll lungs. You could pop the head off of the training dummy if you use the squeeze bag wrong.
Yeah, you
What
can.
you're doing, you don't want to pop the kid's head off in real life.
Yeah, that'd be bad.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
It's like Uncle Alan's getting old and tired. All I want to do, give out toys, bake cookies, bread. Anthony did gingerbread deal out in the Dutch oven. Was really good.
Yeah. Jehoiadak just made a good point here off on the side here. He took his first deer this season at 76 yards with a compound bow.
Good.
So once you learn your firearms and you learn your archery, you learn how to hunt. You just don't go out and start shooting. You have to learn how to hunt. And along with that comes learning how to process what you hunt.
Yeah. Gil?
Yeah.
Your package is coming Saturday. I threw in an extra book. It's a really old book. It's from Desert Publication. Remember those guys?
Deseret? Or
Deseret.
Deseret, yeah.
Deseret.
Deseret.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a book I was looking for. I said this will be perfect for Gil, so I stuck it in there for you. Merry Christmas, Gil.
Thank you.
It's better than Dutch ovens, but the thing is, I tell a lot of people the bow's compound is machine. Compound bow is a machine, so you
Yeah.
got to understand how to tweak that. Then you have long recurve and all that. That's basically physics. The big hard thing for everybody here is arrows. I keep telling people there's a big difference in arrows when you switch from bows to crossbows, because some crossbows you have to have a machine typed arrow that's a
Or
little
carbon fiber.
or carbon fiber, like Dave said, carbon fiber, or what's the other arrow manufacturer, Dave? There's aluminum, carbon fiber, and there's a third one.
Fiber. There is some people still use fiberglass, but I don't recommend them in a crossbow because while
They
fiberglass is strong on a crossbow, especially anything that pushes over 200 pounds, will shatter it before it even leaves your crossbow.
Right.
That little
Compressed
one
is
I've got, so 130 draw. I can make fiberglass ones for it with almost no problem, and it'll work on that. But if you take and go with one from like Raven or somebody like that, that's got 200-300 pull, it'll shatter when you fire it, and you're gonna hurt yourself. Those
Right.
have to take the carbon fiber because it's more rigid lengthways than it is circular.
Right.
Carbon fiber, you
Because,
can snap like this, no problem. As to where it takes the shot going forward a lot better. Fiberglass doesn't bend that easy this way, but when you push it real hard, all them little strands just separate.
Okay, so the models he was talking about was the model of AEDs. It looks like, and Tyler says titanium for arrow shafts. I know they used to use magnesium once upon a time.
Lori Jean has an interesting thing there. She's just reading the book on camp cookery from the old days. Very interesting, and learning how to skin and prepare animals.
Yeah. And that's the next skill you need to learn: how to cook outdoors.
Skin it first.
Once again, go to Boy Scout camp. They cook outdoors all the time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
before you cook it, you got to learn how to skin it.
Skin it,
And
process it, clean it.
there are still some videos here on YouTube that haven't been pulled down yet. How to skin a squirrel, a rabbit, possums, if you're into that, snake, and deer. All of that stuff. I can't skin a deer. Okay.
You
I know
don't
how.
know how to skin a deer?
No, I know how, but once you cut open that little belly cavity, my stomach just goes everywhere.
It
I
follows
don't want
suit.
the blood. Right. It's not the blood that bothers me; it's the smell.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
There's
you got to put some Vaseline up under here and some Vicks or something, to help mask it. But
Good Simple Living is the name of a channel. They raise rabbits, and she just put up another skinning the rabbit to save the hide, and then Keeping It Dutch, and in collaboration with her, did quickest way to skin a rabbit, not saving the hide.
yep.
So they both showed how to skin a rabbit quickly.
like how we put up there, SAS Survival Handbook. I've actually got that on 3 different devices in PDF form. One of which is sitting inside a ESD bag or anti-static device bag. So I've actually forgot that.
Yeah.
I have one in Japanese and English. So. Ah, boy. But like I said, on the arrows, you got to understand, guys, bolts and arrows are totally different between the two. People get those mixed up. Bolts, I've seen bolts in history 800 years old that you could still fire today because those bolts were made out all wood and they had a, whatchamacallit, I can't think of the tip's name.
Flint.
No. It's a metal tip. Oddsbacken. Oddsbacken or something German. And the whole thing's made out of wood. They used to stockpile these things. So when the Crusaders or invaders or Vikings or anybody comes aboard, this goes back to the Roman days with the goat's foot.
Obsidian. It's
No,
obsidian.
no. It's steel or bronze, but crude steel, crude bronze. But they used to stockpile these things in massive because feathers rot, twine rots, but wood and a metal component never rots. So in some castles or fortresses, you find like these. What the hell is that? It's a cedar bolt.
What did I
Because-
miss? We missed something. Writer Death said, I noticed, so I'm not asking no more questions. Don't stop asking questions.
Always
What
ask questions. Always ask questions because Uncle Alan's memories is starting to fall away.
All right, Lori, I just put up the link to Good Simple Living there. That is Jeremy and Melissa. They're setting up their homestead up in northern Idaho, even though they're still living in Washington. They are working on setting up their actual homestead up in northern Idaho, part of the northern group up there. And yeah, even in where they are in Washington, they have a lot of rabbits. She's always processing rabbits.
Well, Ron,
And it's really educational. She shows you how to raise them and care for them, and not just how to skin them.
Hey, Ron.
Oh, hey, Ron.
Hey, how's it going, Ron?
Yeah, I'm just tired.
Yeah, so we've covered first aid. We've covered a little bit about knives, self-defense, firearms, a little bit about archery, hunting. After you hunt, what you got to do with it, processing, skinning, all that. There's, we're not going to tell you exactly. There are videos out there on it. Also, if it's not on YouTube, go check out the videos on BitChute. There are some over there on that, when they've moved it from here to there. Cooking. And cooking is a whole nother skill set you're going to need to learn. Anthony just did gingerbread in a Dutch oven. There's, tons of different things you can do in a Dutch oven. You can use a Dutch oven as a pot. You can use it as an oven. I'm going to be later on here, probably Christmas Eve, cooking some monkey bread in a Dutch oven. I'm going to film it.
all right, stop teasing me with the sweet food now, doggone it.
Okay.
And young lady, you ask questions. I don't care if you're 10 minutes behind. Ask a question. We'll get to it.
Yeah, it just
I'll
takes
come
us a little time.
Well,
Uncle
there's
Alan.
a 2-minute delay from what I'm seeing, from the time it's actually broadcast and the time they actually type it in chat before we see it in the broadcast to respond to it.
Yeah, we'll go back and cover stuff. Vanessa Kitty, tan the hides of rabbits too. Yeah, you can hide rabbit, any hide you can tan. That's another skill to learn, how to use the hides off whatever it is you kill. Oh, sorry, you take and process.
Also, she said canning. Now, canning is a skill you have to be careful with. There's glass canning and metal canning and steam canning, water bath cannings. Whatchamacallit? I forget
Pressure?
the other. Yeah. Steam pressure or air pressure?
In a like a pressure cooker, but it's called a pressure canner. It's bigger and it's made for if you're going to can meats, you can't use a water bath. You have to use a pressure cooker. And you want to talk about that? Check with Anthony. You do a lot of canning, don't you?
I did believe that.
That's Palmetto Prepared. But yeah, there's just canning using paraffin.
Right. And
And
there's a
canning.
there's a third way I don't remember because I used to do all this stuff, but you have two strokes in trying to remember stuff. I don't even remember my grandnephew's name sometime. It's called the red one or the blue one or the green one or
Yeah.
you that looks like a girl. Oh, you are a girl. Sorry, it's hard. I used to do this stuff, and you have to be careful on the rings and lids because some things you can't use combination because it builds a charge and rusts the hell out of the rings.
Haydack says you can use clay if you don't have any pots or pans
The
All
cook.
right, I'm gonna
to cook with.
post
For a
I'm
cooking
gonna post the
vessel.
link real quick. this channel I'm posting right here is to Mouse Toes. I'll tell you what, you want to learn how to can? She teaches you the down and dirty, simple way to do it. She tells you what you need to do, exactly how you need to do it. And she doesn't make you sit there for 8 hours while she tells you 20 minutes worth of stuff. She tells you what you need to do. She'll stop. Then when she comes back, it's telling you what you need to do in the next step. She's an excellent young lady. Well, she's not exactly young, but she's a young lady that knows what she's doing.
Hi, Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah, like I said,
Ow.
they don't do it too much over here in America, but I know in Japan and Europe they still can and cans. They have
underground
little.
canning.
Here in America, it's underground. Overseas in Europe, they have like little mom and pops. They have the real pressure cookers, and they'll can like little sardines or little whatever local delicacy it is.
Yeah.
Well, I
Yeah,
was
but-
referring to what the Vietnamese do to can stuff because, out in the woods, they don't have canners like we do. They can get a earthenware crock and they pack it and they fill it with what they got and they seal the lid down with wax and then they bury it underground and that's how they can their stuff. I mean, that's
Yeah, because each country is a little different.
Yep.
The further you go back, like in Asia, they have different like prehistoric canning methods.
mhm.
And then you go towards like Europe, modern Asia, they have better up-to-date canning methods. I like Europe and I like Japan, I like Korea. But when you get towards the Asian Southeast, all bets are off. It goes out the window. It's like,
Yeah.
yes, we have a monkey and we're preserving something in it. Like,
Yeah. The other thing to consider too is
Hi, Ryan.
for your meats. My grandmother said that they canned some meats, but mainly what they did with their meats, they either made jerky or they made salted meat
yeah.
to preserve it.
Hey, Ryan.
And they did a lot of fishing up there too. And in the fall, they'd fish heavily and salt preserve the fish for the wintertime when the river froze over.
Yeah, and then you hang the fish outside in the cold weather after you salt it, and that freezes hard. You
Yeah.
get hit with you can use it as a weapon. It's like a little club. Just beat them over the head with it. And
That
then when
brings-
they
Slap in the face.
yeah, and kill them because I'm not kidding. Northern pike, frozen, salted, air dried is the toughest thing. You can pound nails in a 2x4.
Vanessa Kitty said, where was it here? Fermenting, sauerkraut making.
Yeah.
That's the easiest way to make sauerkraut and store it. Put it in an earthen crock, bury it underground, just let it go for about 2 years.
Well,
Hey,
all right,
here's the
guys.
sheet kid.
Dave just reminded me of something. Down in the south, there's this little island out there, and it's the only place that is manufactured. And they put the stuff in the barrels with salt on it for several years. It's called Tabasco sauce.
Yep.
Not refrigerated at all. It's fermented and done, and yeah.
Worcestershire done the same way. Worcestershire was put in a barrel and kept stored for a long period of time as well.
Yep.
Right. Remember the Romans? They used to have anchovies,
Mhm.
and around Christ's time, they'll still find it. It's like a big jar of rotten fish guts. That was the Italians. This is good. Try some. Like, no, I know. And they used to put it on everything: dates, oatmeals, sugar things, you name it. It's like, this is good.
Oh, yeah. So Venice Kitty was saying yeast, and I saw that before I saw the one above it, sourdough. Guys, now is the time to get yourself a good sourdough starter going and keep it going, because you want to have that with you, but you need to take off for making your bread, because unleavened bread is not really fun. You can survive on it, but it's not fun.
All right,
Wait till you go to
need
the bathroom.
we need to change subject there. We're getting on Lori's tummy there.
Okay.
Sorry, Laurie. On wild yeast, Vanessa, if you have a juniper, Okay, Gil, you say it.
Juniper?
Yeah, It's the little round things.
Oh,
Yeah, berries. Hey,
Mhm.
cat. There's a wild yeast on it. What you do is you get a pan of sugar and flour, water, and you throw in a couple of those berries until it starts foaming. That's a wild yeast. It's a very weak strain, and you drain that off and you put it into another batch of flour and water, and you start cooking that, and you drain it off and repeat it about 15 times. You get actual sourdough yeast. Trying to kill off everything else except for the yeast bacteria, and starts with a, that type of berry from that tree. I can't pronounce. Oh Lord,
juniper berry.
Right. I sound like Porky Pig at times.
Hey, Howie, they can go ahead and have that over there. I'm not trying that over here.
Me neither. Sorry.
Just
What
like
is
Bear
it?
Grylls says you can squeeze poop for liquid. I ain't about to do it.
Nope.
No.
I eat rotten shark.
Yeah.
So
My dad was a farrier, and before he was a farrier, he was in the top 10 rodeo for 10 years. And so he learned about caring for horses. If a horse has a bad cut on its leg, like from barbed wire or whatever, he'd say, that's what you do. You pee on it. And for some reason, the way the horse is, it's like putting antibiotic ointment on it for a horse.
right. I just noticed something from Anthony. You have to be careful when you're using ride. You don't want to get NROT. Is it NROT?
I'm not sure.
It's what they made. It's like LSD. And you go crazy off of it. It's also a wild yeast, but that's the one you don't want. It'll make great bread, but you have to be really careful on rye flour. That's why everybody uses bean flour or wheat flour. Rye, you have to be really careful because is it Enrot?
I'm not sure.
Made the people in Salem, Massachusetts think there's a witch, burn them.
Oh, that was just mass hysteria.
Yeah, of course. You get Enrot poisoning because you eat yeasty, rotten rye flour, and all of a sudden you see things. You have to be really careful with rye flour because that's one yeast you do not want to have.
I mean, if you want to take a trip, I mean, there's other things that are a lot safer to use than that.
Yeah,
I know that, but we're talking about like it's really bad, and everybody's trying to make beer or bread, and they goof up. That's why you find a lot of dead Egyptians. Well, this beer is pretty good.
As far as cooking goes,
Pee on a
I
wound.
would recommend.
Howie says pee on a wound.
Yeah, that's what I say for the horses. My dad used to do that when they got into barbed wire. But when we're talking about different ways, old school cooking and stuff, well, there are a lot of the homestead channels I follow. Most of them are back east, and they whip up some really interesting cooking stuff. Add that to your prepper library, if you will. Look up some of these good homestead channels that put out cooking stuff using old school ways. You can learn a lot there.
Yeah, Vanessa Kennedy brought up a subject on jar yeast. You only have maybe a year or two of viability, and then the yeast goes dead. You have to have a constant strain, and you have to watch out for wild strains. There's a wine one, there's the Escrot one, there's the one that if you drank, you end up like the Egyptians, like Lori said, you end up dead. You get drunk, but you're dead because it produces a toxin that's like the blue algae mold, I think. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you have to be really careful. Because a lot of people don't know, like, I'm the original kimchi kid. You have to be real careful on that because I know people like, oh, you can put rotten fish heads with your kimchi and it'll be fine. Yes, if it's 40 degrees or colder outside. If it's 102, no. If it's 102 outside, you don't want to do that.
Vanessa Kitty, I believe you're talking about freeze-dried ones. You're talking about yeast. 'Cause I know I was looking at the different yeasts, like if once the Fletcherman's, whatever it's called, yeast, when it opens up, they say it's only good for 90 days. And when the jar is sealed, it's the best use by date is its quote expiration date, and it starts going downhill really quick after that. And usually that's about 3 years. Yeah, freeze dried yeast.
Yeah, the trouble with freeze-dried yeast, it's not an actual, it's semi-live product. What you're getting is the remaining yeast trying to reactivate themselves, and then after 90 days, it's totally useless. It's garbage.
Well, yeast is nothing more than a bacteria.
Hey, Dave, can you put up Anthony's thing on the cultures there? Yeah.
That one?
Yep,
Yeah.
that's the one.
That's a good one. And let's see, Dave was right. It's not a bacteria. It's more like a simple cell plant.
Yeah, but scientifically, yeast is a bacteria. And
Yeah.
Right.
that's the easiest way to understand how to deal with it and use it is the fact that it is a bacteria. And if you understand how bacteria work, it makes it a lot easier to use it.
Yeah. And then bacteria is also used for producing certain drinks.
Mm-hmm.
Like beer,
That's what I said. And ale and
wine.
And hard liquor.
Yep.
What do you think
Moonshine.
causes it to ferment? It's the yeast.
Yeah. Tired. I got one more Christmas card to do. Finished the toy run. Let's see, got food out. Now I can enjoy Christmas and just pass out for like 4 or 5 days. Still got to do videos. Tired.
Hello, Bill.
hey, Bill.
Hey, Bill.
Hi. Bill who? Oh,
Bill
Bill Melton.
Melton.
Hey, how you doing, Bill?
Oh, boy.
Okay. Baking soda powder gives you another, yeah. Baking soda and baking powder is another leavening agent that's bacteria free. It's a chemical leavening.
Yeah. Sorry. Baking powder is the best because it lasts longer, but you need an acid to form it. And then baking powder is cream of tartar and baking soda mixed together. The cream of tartar is the acid base to start the baking soda. I think Anthony did a whole thing on this.
Yeah, he's talking over there on the side chat about yeast and stuff right now.
Oh, good, Anthony. Tell him about cream of tartar and baking soda. Because
that makes your baking powder.
Yep. Because I seen some old stuff that scared the hell out of me. They were using like wood ash and bone meal and other weird things. Like, okay, I'm not going to eat that bread.
Yeah, like Anthony says, baking soda needs an acid. One of the one of the things, the recipes my mom used to use when she was using just baking soda. Well, the eggs produce a little bit, provide a little bit of acid to it. Sometimes she'd put like a teaspoon of lemon juice into the whatever it was to react with the baking soda.
Right, or buttermilk.
Yeah.
Cute comment there, Howie.
Howie, let's climb out of the rabbit hole.
Oh, Lord.
We only go that way on Corsair Trainers channel.
Yeah, a lot. Steve learned how to cook.
That's where all the rabbit holes are.
Yeah. Steve has them all mapped out.
Yeah.
All right. Now another skill, talking about shooting off the cooking, and we're talking about Dutch ovens and cast iron stuff. How to treat your cast iron, how to properly maintain it, how to season it, and to do that, like Dave just said, lard or tallow, and then that's
art.
It's an art. Okay,
Right.
To season it, you can use lard or tallow, preferably tallow. It's a little bit better. But you also got to learn how to make tallow and lard. And the lard you can also use for making soap.
Right. Lard from pigs and tallows from beef. And you got to know there's a difference between tallow and there's some other, I forget.
Yeah.
There's tallow
One
and
of
suet. Suet and tallow is two different things because Townsend's have a great channel. They cover Revolutionary War days kind of cooking. And they have tallow and suet. They're two forms of fat. And I keep warning people that tallow is a different fat than suet. Suet is a type of fat. So is tallow. Tallow was used in California when the whalers came in and they needed a product to sell for candles. They come to the Spanish missions and ranches and they buy huge bundles of tallow. You have to package it in barrel jars because it has a lower temperature. And suet, everybody uses suet for cooking. Tallow is
use
pretty
suet for
rough.
birds.
Yeah.
I use
Yeah,
suet for birds. Tallow is for cooking.
And it depends on tallow. Tallow, you could use it for, it mostly was for lighting, for candle making. You can use it.
Pemmican.
You can use it for cooking.
My
But
grandmother
most-
used it a lot for cooking.
Right.
I'll use it
A
for
lot of
pemmican.
people use suet for cooking because it's a easier fat to cook with. Because tallow, I forgot, has a problem with it. And I
It's
can't.
it takes a higher heat to get it melted down than suet does.
Right.
But tallow, if properly processed, will last longer than suet, which is why people use tallow in pemmican.
Right.
Yeah.
Also, different
And,
melt rates.
Anthony is off on the side. There was mentioned that tallow is beef fat is used almost exclusively on board ships. And
Yep.
in the old days, it was used exclusively aboard sailing ships to grease the block and tackles. And then
Okay.
later on, I know they used it on some of the early steam engines and stuff to provide lubrication on those until they developed the way of cracking and refining petroleum oil.
Yeah, that's why we get Crisco. Crisco was a submarine grease that the Germans used in World War One to coat their engine parts, the iron parts, with it. Once it cools, it forms this sheen on the metal, and it's lubricating. You can do the same thing with cast iron. I wouldn't recommend eating it, but
Yeah.
it's there. It'll work. Also makes a nice candle too. See Gil's videos.
Yeah, the thing is, so the history on Crisco, if you Google it, it's rather interesting. The French came up with the patent on the doing that started the process. Then the German guy took it and created a process to make the soap and a non-edible polysaturated, vegetables product. But it was a gentleman that was hired by Procter and Gamble that created the first Crisco and actually went on the market in 1911, 3 years prior to World War I starting.
Right.
So we had actually a food edible version where the Germans had the non-edible version.
Which is kind of spooky. Yeah.
Yeah.
You just
Can
don't
we-
want to mix up the two.
Yeah.
Can we say stolen patent information?
Well, actually, no, it was bought. The guy that Procter and Gamble hired was used to work for this other company, which bought the patent from the Germans to make soap, and he realized it could be used to make cooking. Well, what do you want? Shortening. So, yeah, interesting history lesson there.
Yeah, well, it beats whatchamacallit. For a while, at the same time period, 1911, they were selling Vaseline as a butter substitute.
Right. Stay
It was-
safe, James.
Yeah. It's like Vaseline on bread. I don't get it. Because I read some tracks like this new spread Vaseline. It works wonder on wounds and it's good on bread. I'm like,
Do not use Vaseline on wounds.
yeah,
It will lead to infection really quickly.
yeah.
Petroleum jelly. Yeah, that's it. They used to use it back when I was a kid. They used to say, "Oh, put petroleum jelly on burns and stuff, like steam burns and stuff." Nope. They learned that the hard way.
Yep.
And they also used to say put butter on it too.
Yep.
Actually, vapor rub works for a lot of good stuff.
But
Yeah, but that's menthol.
on burns, the best thing is cool water. And there's only one thing I've been able to find any proven fact on that you can put on a burn, and it's a natural product called aloe.
Yep.
The only thing.
I got two big
The other thing
friends.
is, other natural product is alcohol,
Yeah.
not wood alcohol. You want to use grain alcohol in case there's any openings in the wounds, because wood alcohol can cause problems.
Oh yeah. But whatchamacallit, I got two big aloe plants in the backyard, so I know what you're talking about. Also, whatchamacallit, 1911, didn't they have bear heroin to sell to people?
Anthony, that's bad. All right,
Oh, boy.
guys, let's keep it clean in the side chat.
Why?
Yeah.
Why are they going to do that?
We already had a couple trolls tonight, so let's,
We don't have it.
Let's keep it PG-13. I'm getting too old for this. Teach adult Sunday school now, so
You embarrassed Lori.
yeah.
it scared my cat off.
Yeah, let's keep it clean, folks.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm getting old.
Oh, Howie put something interesting up there. Pine pitch and moss for wounds. Yes, that was an old thing they used to do during the Civil War and
Yeah.
Revolutionary War. Pine pitch and moss for wounds.
Yeah, but they also had.
Lori
They
says,
also-
you blush, Gil.
Now, I was just trying not to laugh so hard.
Yes,
Yeah, but-
Anthony, I had a couple trolls when we first started tonight.
Yeah. Also, guys, remember,
I saw you sitting here by yourself.
pine pitch and moss does work, but also during the Civil War, they had amputees because people misused pine pitch and tar.
Yeah.
Gunpowder works good.
Yeah.
Gunpowder
Yeah.
works great for cauterizing.
Which
Yeah.
brings us all back to the topic of this training. You got to have the training to use the stuff properly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
remember President Garfield when they had an untrained surgeon poke around in him? I'll find the bullet. Don't need to wash my hands. Here, hold my cigar. And stuck his dirty hand into President Garfield looking around. I think that killed more people than anything else.
You want
Yeah.
to see how scary surgery can be? Go back into Encyclopedia Britannica in the late 60s edition, 68 or 90 or 69 or something like that. And when you look under the term surgery, it shows a picture of just how barbaric it used to be. And that's the way it'll be in an SHTF event. It's going to be pretty barbaric.
This is why I agree with Will and Dave. You have to train, know what your limits, and be damn careful you don't kill anybody.
Or they'll have a lot of people carving on people that don't even know what they're doing.
Why do you think I made friends with a doctor and I have an extra surgical kit in my bag here just in case SHTF event happens and he can't get to the hospital to retrieve his? I can give him mine and I'm covered.
You got NATO or you got American Standard? Dave,
For what?
your surgical kit. Is it NATO kit or is it?
It's a NATO kit.
Yeah, that's good. At least somebody here has one. I have one too, but I can't remember where I put it.
Mine's a military issue.
Yeah,
Fits right inside a cargo pocket.
yeah. You got extra sutures?
It's got six
I always
different
carry-
pictures.
Yeah, I always carry extra packs.
I've
Uh,
also
I have
got,
my needles. I got different kinds. The curved kind, the arc kind, the straight kind.
Needles are not a problem. It's finding the sutures. You cannot stitch somebody up with nylon thread. It tends
Nope.
to hurt. So does dental floss. You want to see somebody
Only
scream
for,
their head?
only for a while.
You want to see somebody scream their head off? You suture somebody with dental floss.
Mm.
See how fast they'll punch you in a. Sorry, I can't use that.
that's
Right
why
Yeah.
you knock them out first.
Well, I know Anthony posted something about using spider web for wounds. I know certain spider webs are really, really strong, and you can use those for sewing up a cut, you know, an injury or whatever, and it will break down. That's why they what was it? Cat gut
Yep,
they used as well.
that's old.
Yeah.
Yeah, and make sure it's clean, both of them. Clean spider web and clean cat good. You don't want anything with that.
No, you want to make sure it's sterilized first.
Yeah, you don't want like, oh, there's a couple of dead flies and a squirrel, and there's some ringworms and something dragging off to the side.
Yeah, yeah.
Tired.
Okay. What else do you need? What other training do you need? Well, Dave needs some other training for horses.
I don't need no more training for horses.
Farrier.
Horseshoeing.
Shoeing the horses.
Nope. I
You
already
already
got
got
somebody I've already got somebody that does that. Same
Well,
place
get
I'm going to get the horses from.
Good.
Get some training so that on the trail, if they throw a shoe, you know how to put a shoe back on.
It just became dinner. Why do you think Why do you think I've got it set up for me to get 3 of them? So if one goes down, I've got dinner for about 7-8 months.
Yeah, but you know, shoeing a horse, it's not that hard once you learn how to do it.
No, it's pretty easy. The tools are simple.
Yeah.
You just got to make sure you know where to do it, because if you hit inside the cuticle of that horse, it's going to let you know about it, and it's not going to be very pretty.
Wait a minute. First,
He's
you
going to
gotta
stomp you 7 ways to Sunday.
First, you got to convince the horse to let you pick that leg up.
That's not hard.
No, that's actually pretty easy. All you got to do is put a blanket over the top part to cover his eyes. And
Yeah.
Most horses become
My
very
buddy
docile.
used to think.
Yeah, most horses, if they've been shoed a lot and taken care of, you just go up, you start rubbing down the leg, you get to pick its leg right up. I used to watch my dad shoe horses all the time.
Yeah, a well-trained horse will pick its leg up for you and just put it, right into your hand.
Yep.
Yeah.
I've watched it done. I've just never done it.
Yeah, but on oxen, guys, oxen's a different shoeing method because I've seen it in, I think, Portugal.
If that horse don't know you yet, you try picking that friggin' leg up.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but oxen is different, so you have to be careful because if you nail the shoe wrong into an oxen's foot, they will tell you really quick that it.
Any animal will.
To
Yeah.
Lori's point right here, if you know how to trim the hoof, you're one step closer to actually shoeing it, because knowing how to trim, the shoe goes right behind where you're trimming, literally right
Yeah.
behind.
It slips it right on.
Yeah, you don't trim too much. It's like trimming your own fingernails. You don't trim down too far, otherwise you could be bleeding. And you also got to remember, on horseshoe nails, at the tip, it's cut at an angle. And you want to make sure that because when it goes in, that's to force it out, away. So that's, you got to make sure you do it right. If it curves the wrong way, oh man, that horse is going to stomp you today, tomorrow, and the next day.
Yep. And probably come over to your house and stomp you too. Ring the doorbell, stomp, stomp, stomp.
So I mean, that's one thing to learn how to do. If you got horses, you want to learn how to show them, take care of them. Another skill you're going to want to learn is basic electrical. 12-volt DC. AC is secondary to learn, but 12-volt DC. Because hey, what is there tons and tons and tons around this country?
Lots
They're
of
all
DC.
going to be probably non-operational because they have no fuel. Cars.
Cars.
What a
and
car?
trucks.
What is everything on a car? 12-volt DC.
Up to a certain year. Then it goes actually 6-volt negative.
Yeah.
Negative is your power.
And
So you need to learn both. Learning electrical stuff for DC is super easy. Once you learn that, AC is a breeze.
the other thing to consider about that too is like how many fitness gyms are there around here? All right, Lori, what type of husbandry are you talking about?
She's referring to animal
type with the
husbandry.
ring? We're talking about animals.
Animal husbandry. Where's your head at tonight?
He's wishing his wife was home.
Is it?
Yeah, I got one of those little.
How many more days is it now, Gil?
Today's Wednesday. She may drive up next Thursday. She didn't want to leave the two boys in California alone on Christmas. But
How old are they?
Oh, through Jack's camera.
How old are they?
Sneak
Yeah.
in.
20 and 23.
They can't be left alone.
Not in California.
Well, put it this way. She did not want, they can be left alone. They can take care of themselves. She did not want to abandon them
Abandon them.
on Christmas. Yeah.
You don't want the house burned down. There's a wild rock party going on.
That'd be neither one of my boys. They don't like that stuff.
Okay,
But,
a wild chess
what was
party.
I talking about before Lori popped that up there?
Electrical.
Electrical.
Yeah. Reed at Manifestation of Imagination was saying, hit the gyms, the exercise, Planet Fitness and stuff, those treadmills and stuff. Pop those suckers open, take those 12-volt motors out of there. They're real easy to turn around, and oh wait, guess what? They're a generator now.
Yep.
That's
Why do you
okay,
think I
Lori.
keep a bike in the house? I keep a bike in the house. That way, if need arises, there's a Planet Fitness literally a mile from the house. I'm going to go swipe about 4 of them. That way I've got a couple spares. I'm going to hook it up to the bike, and I'll let my kid pedal it.
I got one of those little bit
Guys,
little.
that guy high that came in. Hi, Jack.
I did.
Hey, Jack.
I got one of those little pedal doohickey things, and I got gears and pulleys on it, so I can hook it up to a small DC generator, and I'll pedal myself.
Vanessa, that was bad. I just looked up and saw that.
What'd she say?
All kids in all the California kids have Prop 65 stickers attached.
Oh Lord.
Sorry, Anthony. Anthony said that too. Well, Reed said it on another one I was on him with too. But yeah, Anthony was talking about going down to the exercise places. But yeah, there are plenty of resources for electrical stuff out there. The alternators in the car, not so good unless you have to have something of a lot of power that can turn it fast. The
car
gear ratio.
alternators are best worked with the windmill.
Yeah.
Because if you're in a good steady area, it may not produce a ton of power instantaneously like you could generate, say, using a treadmill motor, but an alternator, excuse me, high enough up in the wind will get a steady enough stream that'll constantly produce power. It's just slower.
Yeah. And if you have a good flowing river, you can put a big water wheel on it and gear it down to get that alternator spinning fast.
Unfortunately, the creek next to me has a tendency where it gets about that deep at times, and it gets, like 6 feet deep.
Yeah, like Anthony's saying, alternators need high RPMs.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. No, Gibson girl, I seen.
Not if you get the ones off of treadmills.
Well, he's
No.
talking alternators, not the generators.
alternators.
There's a difference.
Yeah.
The alternators, he's saying 800 RPMs minimum, which is what a car idles at.
And it's easy to do with a couple sets of pulleys. You
Yeah.
put a lot, you figure out which ones you need. If I
All right,
remember
Lori.
correctly, my brain could be a little off. You put a large one at the top, a small one in the middle, next to a large one in the middle, going down to a small one at the alternator. It doubles the RPM speed of the windmill, depending on how big and small the pulleys you're using. You can crank it up to, the windmill may be turning 400 RPMs, but your alternator is turning like 1200.
Yeah. We're talking, Lori, on for electricity. We're talking, the difference between a generator and alternator. A generator, you turn it, it instantly starts producing electricity. Alternators are wired a little bit differently and have to get to a certain RPM for them to be excited. There's a thing called about exciting them to get them to go. But
yeah, you got to get the commutator to excite the molecules so they go whee.
Yeah.
And
but there is a book out there I would recommend to everybody. It's on Amazon. You can find them in a Home Depot over in where they got the book section. It's Reader's Digest Basic Household. Oh shoot, forgetting the name of it. Basically, it's a book that almost looks like a legal size paper sideways, and it's got electrical in there, plumbing in there, everything to fix anything at your house. And my mom got me that when I was 10 years old, I think it was. I love that book.
And Anthony, the reason I said pulleys is because some people might not be mechanically minded enough to pull out the transmission and strip it apart to get the gears they need. That's why I said pulleys and belts.
Oh, and High Urban Prepper 34.
Yep. Hey, Urban.
I'm a little blind. I got to go eat. My blood sugar is getting too low. So I'll catch you guys later.
All right, I'm looking it up here. Give me a second here. Over here, look it up on this one here so I don't wipe it out. Oh, wait a minute. I think I got it stored elsewhere.
Yeah, Vanessa, what you just brought up there is something we actually went over in one of Will's live chats about 2 months ago. Where to put your latrines at.
Downstream from your camp.
Downstream from water. Downstream from everything. It's not on that one. Where did I put it?
You gotta come up on the panel, Lori?
Not there. Tactical water, solar, shopping list.
And through Jack's camera, I'm going to have to go back up and find it.
Nope, not there. Scout,
for those who may have missed it, I did.
Nope, not there.
Going to places where they don't have power, all that, it's
I just closed
very informative when you go there. That's one thing I never got to do is go to Ethiopia and Africa and stuff like that. I wanted to, but I never did because child support said I had to pay money, so I had to stay working here in the States. I couldn't go expand my horizons anywhere.
I know what's different about you. You shaved your beard.
No, you're seeing things. I am an optical. I can't even talk. I am an optical delusion. If you're seeing me, you're having delusional moments. You must seek medical attention immediately.
That's why Anthony, when he came in, said, "Who's that stranger up in the upper left?"
I just smiled.
Okay, I must have dropped it off there. Let me check here.
We don't care if you're in PJs or not, Lori.
TMI. And Palmetto brought up another point, sugar trees. Or being able to grow sugar cane, even though that's getting harder and harder to find anybody that's actually growing true sugar cane. But sugar cane is nice because you can break off a stick of it off the stalk and chew on it right there.
Okay, here's the book. Give me a second here. I'm going to move my camera around and show it to you guys.
That's what I used to do when I was a kid, Dave.
First time I ever had sugar cane, I was actually at the Henry Ford Museum in Detroit.
That's the book.
My grandpa used to grow it for a still. So I'd go out there and just machete a stalk or two off and chew on it.
So that's it on, it's $20 on.
Give it a second there, Gil.
There we
Give
go.
it a second there.
There we go. It's up. All right. So I get the focus right, but that's it. It's hardcover,
Do it.
and I love that book. I recommend that to any prepper to have in their prepper library.
I used to have that digest, that big book.
Yeah.
Lori, one of the reasons I want to move back up into Michigan, Lori, is because there is about 37 different beet farms within a 20-minute drive from where I want to live. So, and I know most of the beet farmers because I drove truck and hauled for a few of them.
1 minute from where I live here in Idaho. Besides potatoes, sugar beet's the other thing they grow up here.
Yep. That's another thing. It's a little town up in Michigan, not far from where I want to live. It's called Shepherd, Michigan. They have a maple syrup festival every year, and when they have the next one, I'm going to get a hold of my pastor and see if they'll send me down some. If I haven't moved back up there by then.
Now, this is one that another skill to learn, which is, all right, depends what state you live in, whether they've made it legal or not. Microbrewing for hard liquor.
That's called moonshining.
Well, some states now allow
Oh,
a certain
microbrewing.
amount you can do before it's called moonshining.
Yep. Here in Ohio, you can brew your own.
Yeah.
I just don't do it.
I mean, California has a whole bunch of microbreweries now. That's become the new fad. But yeah, so the reason I'm saying hard alcohol, you want something up there that's equivalent of rubbing alcohol, 70% alcohol.
It's
For
illegal where you live, Anthony.
For municipal purposes.
Moonshine.
You can't make Jack Daniels in your own home, is what he's saying, and I do believe that's correct. You can make beer and wine, which is what is illegal here in Ohio, is beer.
In Washington, you can make gallons of moonshine for your own personal self, but if you get caught making more and selling it, you go to jail.
Yeah, there's certain amounts that are under ATF regulations that you can make for personal consumption.
Yeah, see, in Ohio, I don't know what the law is here in Ohio per se. I just know there's some stores where you can go buy everything you need right there in the store locally.
Yeah.
They sell all the hops, the grains, the yeast, everything. They even sell all the little cookers that you need. So if you want to get into it, it's about $1,800 to make your own for a true setup.
You applied for the permit? Well, what the hell did you do that for? Now they know you're thinking about it. Hey, Fringe File. How you doing?
Hey, friends.
Yeah. All right. And let's see.
Figure we got about 10 more minutes and we'll wrap this up.
All right. Trying to think off the top of my head, what other training skills you need to learn.
You give them a time limit? I just say I'm done.
Well, I'm trying to be respectful of those who just showed up.
Yeah.
I try to show some respect once in a while,
Yeah. Okay.
That's not fun.
Yeah, but I've been called everything but a nice guy in the last few days since my Patriot call to action video. I even had some guy tell me that I better learn how to take care of my flag first. What's wrong with my flag?
Yeah, I learned a long time ago. You don't talk politics on YouTube.
I don't care. If they don't like it, there's the door. Don't let it hit you in the rear end when you leave. The flag that's sitting behind me, the flag that's sitting behind Gil, they're properly hung the way they're sitting. Now, if they're hanging stripes down, the stars have to be on the left side. If they're hanging stripes out, there has to be an upper left corner.
Yep.
So upper left corner, no matter which way it's hanging.
A lot of people don't get it.
No.
Yeah.
Well, most people who claim that they know everything about the flag have never served in instant in the military, and I'm referring even to people who were in the military still really didn't serve or learn nothing while they were in the military.
Yeah. However, I learned a lot in the Boy Scouts because the Boy Scouts is one of the 3 organizations allowed to dispose of American flags.
Yep. Because if it touches the ground, you're supposed to bury it. You don't burn it.
No. If it touches,
No.
if it can be cleaned, the new thing, if changed the flag code.
We used to burn them.
No. I will never burn a flag. I don't care. I don't care if it's ripped to shreds. I'll never burn it. That's just.
When I was a member of the Legion, we would go around and we would collect flags from all over the county. People that had flags that were no longer in service, and then we got a flag burning ceremony every year.
My troop in California was sponsored by the VFW, so we had hundreds of flags, and we'd have special ceremonies for it.
Yep.
And it was like almost a prayer service.
That's how we did it. Yeah. So that usually did it right when the sun was going down.
Yeah.
Play taps.
Yep.
Another skill I was thinking of that is good for people to learn. Well, sewing skills. Another one. Yeah, Lori. Okay. There's another skill. That's one my mom taught me. So I usually don't think about that skill because that's, something I learned when I was, 8 years old.
Either I sew or would do in leather, so I don't think about it either.
Yeah.
Well, see, I can sew, but I can't knit or crochet. So
yeah,
I'm going to have to somehow meet up with Lori so she can knit and crochet socks for the kid and a hat, and I'll do all the rest of the sewing for her.
All right. The other skill I was thinking about was woodworking.
Mm-hmm.
How to make how to build properly build a cabin, whatever. I mean, then there's all sorts of different things with woodworking.
Furniture, you can build furniture.
Yeah, furniture, beds, smoker, outhouse.
Taking care of your knives and other tools as well.
Yeah. Actually, Dave, I'm going to diverge here for a second on what you said. If you go on Amazon, and I'm trying to remember what it's called here, but give me a second here. I'll pull it up. There's a kit thing you use that teaches you how you can knit to make sweaters. It's a little kit thing, and it's really simple. And old school prepper had a video on it.
Oh, I've seen them. My mom tried to teach me how to crochet.
Well, this isn't normal crocheting.
Yeah, I know, but my mom tried to teach me, and she wound up taking a double needle and smacking me in the back of the head with it twice. And I said, "Okay, I'm done." That double-aught needle hurt because they're about that big around. And
yeah,
I could sew enough to hem up a pair of pants or something like that, but nothing too major.
And let's talk about prepping. Brought up a very valid point also. Interpersonal skills. It's been a lot really bad lately. There's been a whole lot of backstabbing going on here on YouTube between all the prepper groups.
Yeah. Where did I put that? Dang, I guess I didn't save it to my wish list. Stupid me. Yeah.
Unfortunately,
there's a bunch of things. Basically, it's like different size circles, and you actually shows the one making socks and how to do it. And
yeah, I just seen something on eBay too. It gives you a pattern on how you make a sock. It's got a little tab here. It looks like a cross when you knit it out flat, and then you knit it all together into the size of the foot.
It's called Nifty Knitter with a K for both words.
Like a mini sewing machine then, or what?
No.
Going to bed there, Lori. You have a good night.
See, you basically sew around this on here, and you make the caps and everything else, There's a whole bunch of different ones here you can use, different sizes, and they got long ones here.
Night,
And
Lori.
so if you start here, you go around almost all the way around, and you go back instead of making a circle out of it. You use that for making scarves and other stuff here. There's a lot of different. They're called looms, but yeah, Loom Crafts with Nifty Knitter is a book on it. Whole bunch of fun stuff. And so my camera aimed right here again. But yeah, so I mean that's the for us that forgot how to crochet or never had a hard time learning how to crochet. It's a way to be able to make clothing and stuff later on.
They used to teach that in school to the girls back in the day. They used to have a sewing class where they taught them how to make dresses and stuff.
Yeah,
like that.
It was called home ec. Home economics.
Yeah.
I actually went through a semester of it.
Back in my day, it was called sewing. They had different things you could take. You could take sewing class, or you could take cooking class, or something like that. They all had different classes that you could take depending on what your interest was.
Yeah. Yeah. So that there's a lot of skills to learn besides the firearms and archery and self-defense, which are important to have. And so let's get to it's back to what we talked about last week with groups. You got to have a group and make sure, because you can't learn it all. People need to learn different things, and you need to bring different people into your groups for training. And once you have them in there, then the cross training begins. Because you don't want to have a single hero that's the only one knows how to do a certain thing.
And Let's Talk also mentioned that he went to the thrift store and bought books. Unfortunately, my Goodwill up here, the people in back, they take any books that I would be interested in and ship them off somewhere else. The only thing they put on the shelf up here are romance novels and spy novels and kids books. They don't put very many cookbooks or sewing books or prepping related books on the shelves here. They ship them off, which kind of.
I know here once a year the library puts a bunch of books together and they have like a book sale. And then we've been going down, we go through them, and I look for books that pertain to prepping or something that might be something you need to know if it was to break loose somewhere, Get them for like a nickel or 10 cents a piece,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I mentioned it somewhere else on one of the other slides that I guess I was about 13 or 14. My older brother, who my mom taught all of us how to sew, actually made me a 3-piece suit that looked like it was tailor done. I mean, it was really sharp looking. So there's skills, guys, you can learn skills. You can still be a manly man and sew.
Well, these are just things that a person should know anyway.
Yeah.
Hey,
Because
Paul, Anthony, go ahead.
Because besides sewing up clothes, I got a cut, I can sew it up.
Anthony brings up a good point too, because if there is an SHTF event, Tadawaki, the books that he's talking about right there, the old books from the 60s to the 80s where they actually talk about real history, those are going to be invaluable to teach the next generation.
Yep.
Well, they don't teach them anything anymore.
No, they don't. I've already had issues with my son's teachers about some of the crap they're trying to indoctrinate him with. So he'll come home and he'll tell me, they taught me this. No, that's not true. Here, let me show you. And I'll pull it up for him. Because there's still some places on the internet where you can find the actual true history.
Yeah. Yeah, there's something big I don't want to discuss on a channel unless somebody wants to really discuss politics, but of how somebody's rewriting history of who actually voted for what.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, Anthony, it's not girly. Tailors were all men.
In the old days.
Now braiding hair.
Betsy Ross wasn't a man.
She wasn't a tailor either.
She was a seamstress.
She was a seamstress.
Same difference.
But no, there is a difference. One begins with an S, one begins with a T.
Darn it.
Sorry, I'm just reading Palmetto's.
Darn it, Anthony. I wanted to get him.
Oh, wait. I can't read it. I don't know what he said. Never mind.
There's something about lube.
Oh, well. Good thing I missed it.
I was trying to get to it, and Anthony beat me to it. He must have his phone. I was trying to use my tablet to get to it, but he beat me to it. Damn it. That's it.
Yeah.
Troll number 3 for the evening. Wow, I feel special now. I actually had 3 trolls for once. Wow.
Well, Dave, afterwards, go back and review and actually block them out of your channel. That way they can't even comment on any of your other videos.
Yep. I just got to hide user on this channel.
Yeah, that's what I did to the ones the other night. Went back and put them in the box.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for flashing lights to show up now.
Oh, through Jack's camera. You're a surgical assistant, huh? Cool.
Cool. Of course, most of the local PD and sheriff's department know me well enough to know that I ain't doing nothing stupid, so I'm good.
You guys want to, before we part out here, a little bit of musical trivia. The band Journey.
Yeah.
One of the original guys on it, George Tickner, was one of the original founders of the band Journey. He was on the first 2 albums, and then he just contributed for the 3rd album, writing, and that was it. The reason why he dropped out of the band, his parents put him through medical school, and he became a surgical nurse. He was a friend of mine back in Martinez. See, that's where he lives now, is in Martinez, California.
See, you made me miss another one. Dang it, Gil.
I'm sorry. I mean, if your grandpa is really in a hospital, I'm sorry, and I'll say a prayer, but, it just doesn't work. The name in of itself is not exactly desirable.
Yeah.
So if you want to talk on people's chats, you're going to want to change your name. Because I don't know a single live stream, and I visit a lot that would accept that.
Yeah.
You'll be blocked pretty quick.
That was a plumber.
He was a plumber before the recession.
All right. I think we'll start winding her down now.
Yep.
Yep, trolls are getting out.
Yeah, I don't care. Trolls are like butts. There's one around every corner.
They're
Yeah.
free. They're free to.
I wish we had somebody with the skills of McGee from NCIS. When the trolls came in, he could go back and find out exactly where they live. Send him a present in the mail.
Hard. It's really not that hard.
Yeah.
Contrary to popular belief, it is not hard at all.
Yeah.
If I had the ambition, all I'd need is another computer here where I could actually sit there and do that silently where nobody knew what I was doing, and I could do it. I'm not going to do it, though. It's not worth my time and effort. Now, if somebody tries swatting me, I will do some digging then, and I will make sure the authorities get the proper information. It's not that hard.
Yeah. All right, Anthony. See you later.
All righty. Catch you later, Anthony.
Night, Anthony.
All righty.
I think I'm done too.
Tyler, see you later. Jack, catch you later.
Alrighty, I guess we'll shut her down. You got anything coming up, Gil? You want to shout out?
No, I was thinking about trying to do my first live Saturday, but I want to play around with Yard Stream a little bit more first.
No problem. If you want me to, I can, set one up and I'll join you and we can do it privately and we'll go over everything.
Okay.
Yeah, or I can, or we can do it all together. It don't matter.
Yeah, because you can set up a stream and not go live.
Yeah, you can do it a private one. That's
Okay.
what I did. I did a private one before I went public.
You got anything, Will?
Sure, I understood everything. Nope, I'll be live on, what's today, Wednesday? Tomorrow night at 10. That's it.
Alrighty. All right, folks. Thanks for visiting. We'll catch you on the next one.
Yep.
SOP says good night.
Night, everybody.